From the humble beginnings of Pallet to the Grand World Championships, Charizard has been eternal. For many and myself included, it was the first starter Pokemon and companion through the first generation. It was with us throughout all the ups and downs, whether it be like Viridian Forest or Diglett Cave. But Charizard's journey is more than just flame. It's a tale of power, controversy, mega evolutions. Today we're diving deep into the evolution of Charizard across every Pokemon generation. Our story begins in Generation 1, Pokemon Red and Green initially released in Japan. When Charmeleon became Charizard, it was a fire and a flying type even though its design screamed dragon, even if its typing didn't. Charizard has access to moves like Flamethrower, Fire Spin, and Slash. It boasted a high special stat and a solid speed, making it a strong offensive choice. However, due to the stat system worked at the time, it had some weird stuff like Fire being a special type, meaning Charizard's physical attack was not really that good. And yet, it didn't matter. Charizard was cool. In the schoolyard, if you had a Charizard, you were instantly the envy of your friends. Its sprite in Red and Blue looked fierce, and in Pokemon Yellow, its back sprite was updated to match its anime appearance more closely, flying and facing forward like a champion. Speaking of the anime, this is also when Ash's Charizard took over as one of the franchise's most iconic Pokemon. Ash's Charizard started off disobedient after evolving, refusing to listen to his trainer, and that character arc of a Pokemon too powerful to be controlled resonated with fans. When it finally did listen and fought for Ash, it became a highlight of the original series. Even when Charmander was alone and sad, its flame on the tail was about to go out, yet it was resilient and it stayed alive. Charizard wasn't just a top pick for players, it was the face of Pokemon. It was on the cover of Pokemon Red, and its trading card, the original base set Charizard, became legendary for its power and rarity. Even today, that card can sell for thousands of dollars. In competitive battling during Gen 1, Charizard was decent but not dominant. It struggled against the Rock Slide, and Thunderbolt users like Jolteon could deal some heavy damage, or even Golem. Moving over to Gen 2, Charizard didn't get a new evolution or regional form in Gen 2, but it did return as a part of the extended national dex and was available via trade from Red or Blue or by catching Charmander in Pokemon Yellow and transferring it to Gen 2. The special stat was split into two separate stats, the special attack and the special defense. Charizard ended up with a solid base 109 special attack, but only 85 special defense. Two new types were added, Dark and Steel. Steel in particular introduced a new challenge, as Charizard's fire type was way super effective against these steel types like Skarmory and Steelix. Charizard also gained access to some new items like Charcoal, which boosted fire type attacks, and could now take advantage of the Choice Band, and it could also use Sunny Day to power up its fire moves even more. However, the rise of powerful water types like Suicune and Kingdra, along with the prevalence of rock and electric type coverage, its double weakness to Rock Slide and Rollout, plus the increasing popularity of Stealthy Walls, meant that Charizard was often a risky pick. In terms of in-game use though, Charizard was still a fan favorite in Johto. Trainers who transferred their beloved starter from Kanto could take on the entire Johto journey with the original Charizard and even face off against Red on Mount Silver, whose own team included a powerful Charizard at level 84, one of the toughest challenges in the series. Not even Heart Gold Soul Silver could beat this. This battle was very poetic. Your own Charizard, now a seasoned veteran, possibly going toe-to-toe with Red's, the original trainer from Gen 1, it creates a nostalgic mirror moment for longtime players. Generation 3 was a bold leap for Pokemon. With the release of Ruby and Sapphire, the series transitioned to the Game Boy Advance. This brought enhanced graphics, smoother animations, and an entirely new region, Hoenn. But for many fans, one thing was missing: their favorite Pokemon Charizard. Charizard wasn't available in the main Hoenn games, but the original 151 as well were notably absent from the regional Pokédex, and it was a decision that sparked debate, even disappointment, among longtime players. It was the first generation that made Pokemon like Charizard feel nostalgic. You couldn't even trade from older Gen 2 games due to incompatibility, but the wait wouldn't be long. Generation 3 gave us the beautiful Firered and Leafgreen remakes. Charizard looked better than ever, and the improved visuals showed its design in full color. In battle, Charizard gained new tools like Overheat, and the new ability system introduced Blaze, boosting fire-type moves when its HP was low. Jumping over to Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, this generation introduced Wi-Fi battling, GTS trading, and of course Stealth Rock. a hazard that would define Charizard's legacy from this point on. And since Charizard is fire and a flying, it took a brutal 50% damage from just entering the battle. This was a death sentence in competitive formats. Even the most powerful Charizard builds couldn't survive if it lost half of its HP on entry. Suddenly, using Charizard required intense team planning, like heavy rapid spin support, defog, and careful prediction. For many players, it just wasn't worth it. But outside of competitive play, Charizard still thrived. In Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the Gen 2 remakes, players could finally bring Charizard into Johto and have it follow them in the overworlds. Seeing Charizard walk behind your character in full sprite animation was a dream come true. In the anime, Charizard made a major return in the Johto Festival arc, and again in the Sinnoh series. Ash called on Charizard for important battles, including facing off against the legendary Articuno. Gen 5 was a quiet one for Charizard. Game Freak introduced an entirely new Pokédex for the region of Unova. For the first time, you couldn't catch or use older Pokemon like Charizard and Pikachu. It wasn't available in Unova's main story until post-game, and its competitive role remained limited, but with Dream World access. Black 2 and White 2, Game Freak reintroduced older Pokemon into the Unova Pokédex, and Charizard came roaring back. Outside of competition, Gen 5 had Pokestar Studios, a filmmaking minigame that let players stage battles with specific roles, and guess what? Charizard often starred as the dragon or the actions hero. Meanwhile, in the anime, Charizard didn't appear as much, but the fandom's hunger for it was strong. It was around this time that Charizard's nostalgia peaked again. And then came the explosion. Pokemon X and Y introduced Mega Evolution, and not just one, but two Mega Evolutions for Charizard. Mega Charizard X and Mega Charizard Y. Mega Charizard X changed everything, like it changed it into a fire and a dragon type with the ability Tough Claws. Its design was fierce black and blue flames, and it finally became the dragon everyone always wanted it to be. Mega Charizard Y, on the other hand, enhanced its special attacking power and activated Drought, making it a perfect for Sun teams. This dual Mega treatment catapulted Charizard back into competitive play. It resisted Stealth Rock more effectively due to the dragon typing, and after a single setup, it could sweep teams with terrifying efficiency. It was also immune to burn from Will-O-Wisp thanks to its physical setup. And the love from Game Freak didn't stop there. Charizard played a central role in Kalos's marketing. It featured in trailers, anime storylines, and Mega Evolution showcases. It even became the player's starter gift from Professor Sycamore after choosing a Kalos starter. Ash's Charizard returned with a vengeance in the Mega Evolution specials, facing off against powerful Mega Evolutions, and even battling Elaine's Mega Charizard X. This fight, Charizard vs Charizard, became one of the most iconic and emotionally charged battles in the series' history. Pokemon Sun and Moon kept the momentum going. Charizard starred as the region's Pokemon taxi. You could no longer use HMs like Fly. Instead, you summoned Charizard to fly between locations at will. No battling required, just a loyal flame soaring through the sky. This was poetic. Charizard wasn't just your partner, it was your freedom, your fast travel, your dragon taxi, a legendary presence you could call on at any time. Even if it wasn't in your party, it felt like it always had your back. Speaking of Z moves, Charizard got one of the flashiest signature Z moves in the series, which is Inferno Overdrive, a dazzling animation of Charizard diving into a firestorm with explosive impact. While not as game-changing as Mega Evolution, it made battles feel cinematic and gave Charizard a new burst of power without needing a full transformation. But the real surprise came in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, the Gen 1 remakes with the more casual motion-controlled style. Here, Charizard could literally fly above the overworld, with you flying on its back. It was a dream come true for our Gen 1 fans, soaring over Kanto with your childhood starter, now in full HD. In battle, Let's Go used simplified mechanics closer to Pokemon Go, but Charizard was still one of the strongest available. Sword and Shield brought new changes. Megas were removed, but Gigantamax Charizard stepped into the spotlight. With a stunning new form and the unique G-Max Wildfire move, Charizard once again became Leon's signature Pokemon and the face of Galar. It was powerful, flashy, and ever-present. This era solidified Charizard as a franchise centerpiece. Sometimes it did annoy fans who wanted other Pokemon to shine. Even outside Galar, Charizard showed up again in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, where it could be transferred in and used post-game. But Pokemon Legends Arceus was the first mainline Pokemon game where Charizard was absent. Generation 9 unfortunately didn't contain Charizard in the base Pokédex, but it came back as an event-exclusive Tera raid boss. With the introduction of Terastallization, Charizard could now surprise opponents with new type matchups. It finally gave us a legal Dragon-type Charizard in a main game without needing Mega Evolution. It was an event of massive hype. You had to beat the game and unlock high-level raids, and once caught, it came with the mightiest mark, signifying it as an elite boss Pokemon. Charizard's legacy was important enough to be the first special raid boss in Paldea. Then, in the Indigo Disc DLC, Charizard could be found in the wild in the Terrarium biome. Meanwhile, in the TCG, the Charizard train kept rolling. Obsidian Flames introduced the Dark-type Tera Charizard EX, flipping the typing and design, and Scarlet and Violet 151 and Paldean Fates reintroduced shiny and alternate art versions of Charizard EX that once again became chase cards. Thanks for watching this deep dive into Charizard's evolution. Drop a comment and tell me what's your favorite generation for Charizard. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell to catch more Pokemon content. Until next time.